Welcome to See It or Skip It, the special Oscars edition where we're going to be talking about the award show that's going to be dazzling everybody at Sunday. I am with a very special guest, a fellow Utah Film Critics Association member, a podcaster, Rebecca Frost. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Oscars, it's our Super Bowl, right?
I'm very, very excited.
So what are your traditions when you see the Oscars and anything that you're excited for this year?
Love to go to an Oscars party, love to dress up like I'm there, and the food-based puns are, I think, something I really look forward to every year.
That's 100% the reason I put on any party for these, is so that I can make people cringe at my dad jokes for stuff. So I got to bring out one. We're doing hot dogs for the big thing, right? Mm-hmm. But we're calling them Glizzy dogs.
Oh, gosh.
Or glizzies, because apparently glizzies is the new term for a hot dog. Mm-hmm. And instead of buns, they're alpha buns. So Glizzy dogs and alpha buns, because they deserve each other.
Green mustard.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, green mustard's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was going to go with green buns, but that makes it even, works.
You can have that for free.
They deserve each other. Well, let's break down first our predictions. So we're going to have 3 predictions on this special episode. We're going to have one snub that we both think we're completely snubbed out of this year and deserves recognition and deserves you being able to watch it. And then we're going to talk about the wild cards, the ones that maybe no one predicts that are the short runners or I don't know, nobody thinks is going to win anything. Mm-hmm. But first, what is your first predictions for Best Picture and all of that?
So for Best Picture, first of all, this year for nominees has been so crazy. It has kind of been just like a weird race to see who, first of all, Amelia Perez leading with 13 nominations.
Insane
for not a movie that I would necessarily recommend.
Only 3 other films have actually been in content or have 14 nominations above them. I think it's Titanic, All About Eve, and La La Land.
Crazy that Amelia Perez is up there with them. So at first I thought Amelia Perez was maybe going to sweep, but as we see anonymous Oscar voter ballots come out, I kind of foresee Anora taking the lead in a lot of categories.
Funny enough, I have that on my predictions as well. I think Anora has, first for the Critics' Choice Awards, it won Best Picture. It's the only thing that it won for the entire night, which was kind of a shocker. I was in the audience for that, and so when it got called out, hearing the audience kind of go, oh, it was pretty fascinating. But also, Mikey Madsen is winning with Best Actress. I think she did for the BAFTAs. Mm-hmm. And SAG, they were also giving a lot of acclaim to, well, actually, I don't know if they won anything for SAG. They might not have.
I don't remember.
Well, either way, my number 2 for Best Picture, at first I thought it was a 3-way tie between The Brutalist, Conclave, and Anora, but now I'm leaning a little more towards Conclave, actually, taking the lead and being a 1-2 between that and Anora.
I see it as a duel between Anora and The Brutalist.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about The Brutalist with their kind of AI controversy? Does that play into any of the voters' decisions?
I think the controversy surrounding Amelia Perez is a bit more prevalent than the AI controversy for Brutalist. I feel like that kind of went away after a weekend.
Yeah, it's true. That really did come and go. But as far as Best Picture, I think that it's one of those categories that usually if Best Director goes to that movie, it's tied together. And so one of my predictions for Best Director is Sean Baker for Anora. Mm-hmm. But the second one actually is for Carolee for The Substance.
Really? Because same thing with my Best Picture predictions. I'm going Brady Corbet for Brutalist or Sean Baker for Anora.
Why do you think with The Brutalist?
He took home the Golden Globe for Best Director for Brutalist, and I see his name showing up in a lot of different conversations.
Right. And these voters that are in the Oscars, we can probably just break down where they're coming from. These are different actors, directors, people that are a part of the Oscar organization.
I researched it this morning. Academy, to be a member of the Academy, you either have to be nominated or you have to have 2 sponsors who are already within the Academy. And that's it.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and that's the other thing, because we're seeing on Twitter a lot of tweets of unknown voter is saying that they never knew that Ralph Fiennes didn't win an Oscar, and so they didn't consider him for this year. I've been seeing a few different anonymous voters don't really know what they're watching or haven't seen everything. Do you feel that's the case in a lot of these Oscars?
Oh, yes. It's a big conversation that I think happens every year with Oscars voters coming out and saying, well, I actually didn't watch all of the movies that came out this year. A big one that I have seen people totally ignoring is Dune Part 2. A lot of people didn't care for Dune Part 1, and so they've skipped Dune Part 2 entirely, which I would absolutely call a snub because I think Denis Villeneuve is a fantastic director who absolutely needs to earn his flowers.
Yep, and if anything, this is the completion of Dune Part 1, so all the awards should be going to this. One of the big snubs was, I think, Hans Zimmer losing for Best Score or not being considered for it. But I also agree. It came out in March, and from there, it really hasn't been getting a ton of traction as far as awards concerned.
Totally a recency bias because Dune was originally supposed to come out in late 2022, got pushed to late 2023, was supposed to come out early 2024 instead. I think a lot of people saw it and forgot it by the time a lot of nominations and awards discussions happened.
Right. Well, we haven't forgotten it, and hopefully, if you have a Max subscription, you can watch it as well. But what's your second prediction?
So my second prediction for Best Supporting Actor, I've said this since I saw this movie at Sundance last year, A Real Pain. Kieran Culkin, I think, is going to absolutely sweep in the supporting actor category.
Absolutely. Kieran Culkin has already been winning pretty much every single award. And I would also add to that, Zoe Saldana has also been winning. Whether or not the controversies for Amelia Perez stretches out to Best Directing, Acting, Best Picture, I'm not so sure. But at least as far as supporting actress, she's the surefire bet.
I agree. And her song El Mal from Amelia Perez, I think, is going to be the winner for Best Original Song.
Yep. I think it narrowly beat Wicked as far as music goes. And that frustrates me because I really loved Wicked's music.
That's okay. There's still a second one.
Yeah, yes, but hopefully the Academy treats it better than they treat the second part of Dune. My prediction to add to that would be the Zoe Saldana, but I would also say that for Best Actor, Adrien Brody has kind of been the front runner for all considerations, pretty much in every award show. But do you think that there's anybody else that could come up?
This is where my wild card comes in. I think Timothée Chalamet is going to take it for a complete unknown.
He had an interesting speech during the
I
SAG
think
Awards.
his speech was fantastic. It was very earnest in how he approaches this industry very earnestly and how he wants to be one of the greats. And I think a lot of people see that in his performances.
I think so too, but he needs to learn to read a prompter a little bit better because he didn't get that completely right. But then the Anora people stole the show with that, which I thought was so adorable, like very wholesome to be like, and now Mickey, you speak. Oh man! All right, so third prediction. What do you have?
Third prediction. So for Best Actress, this is the category I'm most excited for because I have a really good feeling. Please do not quote me on this. Demi Moore is going to take it for The Substance.
I hope that you're right. That is every time I do these ballots. And by the way, you can check out any of these ballots on like RottenTomatoes.com. They have printouts. I'm sure ABC4 is going to have one too on ABC4.com. But I always have what I think will win and what I want to win.
I always do that too on my ballots.
Because I can't help but want to say what I think is I'd love to win. And in this case, I do think Demi Moore is actually going to take what I want and what should win. The Substance is an incredible film, and if anybody hasn't seen it, go get a 7-day free trial on Mubi and check it out, because if anything, if you want to champion a film before the show, that's the one that you need to see.
And we never, ever get horror representation at the Oscars. So it's, for me, a big horror fan, very exciting to see horror representation at the Oscars.
Well, let's talk snubs now.
Snubs.
There are a few snubs where the Academy turned their nose at some projects that, to me, I feel were very deserved. The one that I'm going to really champion and fight about is Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. That's on Max right now. That was Best Documentary for me, just like with Sundance with You in A Real Pain. Day one, the minute I saw that, I just could not stop crying. Seeing the inspiration of Christopher Reeve and what he went through, how he fought to be able to walk again, and how he fought for so many other people that were quadriplegic, and with the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation and what they were able to do. And more importantly, just his family dynamics. It was fascinating to see the different siblings and their relationships to him and how they were different. And I think the other documentaries definitely are deserving. Will and Harper is also a snub that I hope I didn't take away from you on that one.
No, I was hoping for Will and Harper for documentary and Best Original Song because Kristen Wiig wrote an original song for the movie.
I remember, yes. Oh, wow. Okay, what is your snub?
So I have a couple. Original score, Challengers. Challengers was one of my favorite movies of last year, and the score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross I thought was so stunning, and I cannot believe it did not get nominated at all for anything. I also think in a just world, Nickel Boys would have a lot more nominations, particularly in cinematography and editing, a category that not a lot of people really care about, but Nickel Boys does something so unique that I feel it's unjust that it's not getting recognition.
Right. Well, and that uniqueness is with the point of view camera perspective and using that throughout the entire film. We've seen it with films like Hardcore Henry, but never in a drama and this consistently. I agree. In fact, the cinematographer, I'm forgetting the name at this point, but he won the Astras for a specialty award for his cinematography. And Ramil Ross came in and introduced him, and just hearing them talk about the lengths they went to create this and this special, I guess, visual language that I remember them saying when they first screened the film, you're going to have to watch it a second time because it's almost like learning a new language.
Yeah.
It's such a brilliant thing. It's such a cool, unique concept. I wish Academy voters gave it a little bit more credit to.
One more snub I would like to talk about. It does have one nomination for visual effects, Better Man. I wish it appeared more in the original song category and the production design category. Robbie Williams, British pop star, as American, none of our business, but I think this movie was so phenomenal, and I wish more people would see it because the dance numbers alone are so spectacular.
It's a very fascinating year for visual effects because we've got Better Man, that's a monkey. We've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, kingdoms of monkeys, and then we have Wicked, flying monkeys.
Lots of monkeys.
It is the year of the monkeys for visual effects, and I do think Better Man, it was interesting to put the eyebrows on him. Because
I did not consider
you don't see that. You don't see that in any of the other ones. They tried to give him a little bit more of like a human characteristic, which was very interesting. And the musical is so good. I love the songs. I love the dance sequences, and the lengths that I think it was Weta that worked on this. What they had to do to try to get the motion capture and the way that they filmed it was apparently very groundbreaking. But I don't know. For my monkey, I might go for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I would also go with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes because I could see the actors' faces on the CGI apes. It was, I thought, truly astounding work.
Yep. Oh, particularly when Maurice is in the water. And you see just all the strands and the look of fear on his face is like it's so good to be able to like totally see the actor when you're looking at nothing that's real, that's actually on screen. I don't know. Let's move on to the wild card. This is our Charlie Day, It's Always Sunny wild card. I'm going to say because Gladiator 2 only has one nomination in costume design, I think there's a chance that Gladiator 2 could win Best Costume just because it's the only thing that they were nominated for. I think every year there's something like that where it's like, there's only one thing that this movie's nominated in. It's got to be the win.
Gladiator 2, the movie that asks the question, has Ridley Scott ever seen a baboon before?
Well, maybe. What have you? What do you know? That's what Ridley Scott would say if we were to be like, were you there?
Yeah, my wild card, like I said earlier, I think Timothée Chalamet for Best Actor. I think he's going to surprise us, and finally, he's had 8 nominations that he's never won. I think he's finally going to win one.
Well, I think that about wraps up what our Oscar coverage is. Please make sure that you're tuning in to us. Where can the people find you?
People can find me every week on the Geekshow podcast or Twitter, Instagram. EUGrossRebecca is my handle. But
so happy to have you here. Again, follow us on See It or Skip It. You can check out where to watch all of these things on See It or Skip It. We just did an article on Monday that has where to go, and if there's reviews or interviews where you can check those out. I'm Patrick Beatty. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next review.